Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Poppin' Corks. I'm Dan Candy, CEO of Cork Cyber, the cyber risk intelligence platform. I am joined today by the amazing Scott Beck, the tech therapist. Scott, I just love that. I guess you're also the president and CEO of Beck Tech, but I'm going to stick with tech therapist. How did you come about thinking about the therapy side of the world that we live in, my friend?
Just talking with a lot of fellow business owners. I mean, we were promised that technology, we are going to have paperless offices. We're going to be able to operate faster, more efficiently, but it also created a lot more stress and risks and things to worry about and how to make everything play together nicely. And I write the prescriptions for that. I'm the therapist that can get you through those problems.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we need multiple therapists on some days, or I'll speak for myself. There are some days more than others, for sure. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about cybersecurity, if you don't mind. Uh, we're living in a world where, it seems like the volume of threats is on the rise. And what I have seen in 2025 specifically is an increase in AI enhanced threats coming into SMB. And so when we're working with our partners, I feel like the job of our partners is getting harder every week. I'd be curious, what's your take on it? What are some of the challenges you're seeing these days as you're moving about supporting your clients?
Well, it's become very clear to us, Dan, is that while businesses are struggling with the concept of AI and how can they utilize AI in their businesses, cyber criminals don't have that problem. They're already doing it. We're seeing improved phishing attacks. We used to say check for bad grammar and poor English, and now we almost have to say check for perfect English because the way AI writes things, those triggers aren't there. But we've actually seen in the wild cyber attacks that are 100% AI generated. They're writing their own code, self doing it, putting it out. So what maybe took a human with some programming, some time to once they get a foothold in to exploit that foothold is now seconds. So the ability to detect problems to respond to it becomes more and more important. But unfortunately, a lot of our small business people still think, A, they're not a target. They're too big, they're too small, they're from a big city, they're from a small, whatever reason that they have in their head, they think that they're not a target. And two, they think that their IT guy's got it covered. But we're past the day of your desktop computer troubleshooter guy that's installing hard drives being schooled enough to be able to detect bad things when they go wrong. Sadly, and AI is just going to continue to accelerate these threats that we're facing that we have to deal with.
Yeah. Let me flip it around. I grew up playing chess, and I always loved the idea that a strong defense is a good offense. So, what tool or tactics have made the biggest difference in how you protect clients today versus how you were protecting them, a year or two ago?
Well, over the last 5 or 6 years, we've started moving to a defense and layer. So if you want to try to use the chess analogy, this might not work out super well, but normally you would have some offensive tactics that you're doing while you're looking at the defense. You'd have multiple layers that are happening all at once. And that's what we have to be doing now is what we're faced with. From desktop to email to making sure that the data is secure and we can get the data back quickly when something happens. I've mentioned detection several times. I mean, the day of building the ultimate castle and standing at the top and looking for threats is over. I mean, the bad guys just have to find that one crack. So we have to be able to detect when something weird is happening so we respond quickly. And we actually have to have some plans around what does that response look like. So what are we doing differently? Is we're not naive enough to think that we can stop everything from getting in. It's just not possible. So now we've had to put in extra layers to detect when something's abnormal, so that we can respond to it and minimize the impacts to potential bad behaviors or bad action.
If we are acknowledging that threat actors are going to succeed, to a certain amount. That means we're talking with clients about exposure and we're talking with them about money, right? Which means that in your world, you're ultimately also talking to them about cybersecurity insurance and financial risks, which is probably different than you were doing a couple of years ago. I'm curious, what has that transition been like? And what are you doing to try to get out of the data room and into more of those boardroom like conversations?
You just hit on a great point, Dan. Like the days of trying to talk bits and bytes, and this is why you put this in place for more efficiencies. Yes, we have to look at efficiencies, but ultimately we have to understand our clients or our prospects' business. How do they actually operate? How do they find their own clients? How do they provide the widgets to their clients? How are they paying their staff? How are they paying their vendors? What's that whole process look like, and what are the weak points? And then you start talking about risk to them. And a lot of has been educational at the boardroom level. Like again, the days of bits and bytes conversations are gone. It's more along the line of, hey Dan, what we're seeing according to law enforcement and insurance companies, is the average cyber incident is costing 2 weeks of downtime. What's the impact to your business on that? Okay, well, the cyber or the insurance company is going to come in and treat that as a crime scene. You can't operate until they figure out what's going on. What's that look like if you can't operate for a month? What's that impact of payroll? And you start having those level of conversations just to get the wheels rolling. And it might take a little while for a prospect that light to go off, but it doesn't take very long. And you have to approach it from that business perspective and you have to, I like using stories and analogies because just telling people, hey, there's bad stuff out there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Yeah, there's a little bit of tactic to it, but until they hear something close to home that brings it home to them, and if you can relate that story or analogy to that business person so they can kind of get it, it opens up the doors. And it's interesting to watch those light bulbs go off when it occurs. And you go, okay, now they're getting it. Now let's have a conversation of what do we do to protect against that? Um, it's amazing. Like I've seen it literally go, Dan, from people that were running free antivirus thinking that they were protected, using Gmail to, oh my God, yeah, this could like wipe me out. Yeah, it could. So what does that look like? And then try to help them formulate a plan because we're not going to get everybody from 0 to 100% protected overnight if they haven't been doing it. So, but they need someone to kind of hold their hand and guide them and give them that roadmap to try to get them some peace of mind and some security and knowing that they can survive a bad incident. Does that make sense?
Yep, well said. Scott, you recently flipped the script on how you approach cyber risk and financial resilience by using Cork differently. Any cool wins or aha moments since you started rolling it out?
Well, first off, I started using Cork as a way to help the efficiencies within my own business. And then I started digging more into it and realized by having cyber warranty, to be able to talk to my clients and say, hey, we're so confident in our security and solutions, we're even going to give you some warranty on it. So we've actually rolled it out to all of our clients. And it also helped us open up the doorway to talk about risk even more. Like we've got a number of clients, and they're all while we scale and give them all of our solutions. Like if you go to a baker and you order a chocolate cake, you don't get to order your ingredients. You don't get to pick your ingredients. That's how I see cybersecurity. I'm making the cake. You're getting the cake as I bake it because I'm the baker. So all my clients have it, but they may not understand why. So when we started talking about cyber warranty and why we were putting it in place, man, the smiles and the extra peace of mind, and for them, uh, matter of fact, I just got an email from a client yesterday that said, Scott, thank you so much for always being forward thinking about how to keep us protected and make sure that we can keep running should something bad happen. That makes me feel really good. to get those kind of comments. But two, it really gives me peace of mind in knowing it's there. And how do we flip that script? Well, get in the trenches with your clients. They now understand that we're not just talking about pie in the sky cybersecurity. We're there with them. We're giving a warranty behind it. We've got a vendor that's backing us. Thank you, Cork. And we're bringing it to the table. I say we're sitting on the same side of the table with them now. It's not, we are no longer a vendor or a cost within their business. We're now a valuable piece of that business. And this just gave us that extra layer. So when the light bulb went off for me looking at Cork, we rolled it out to all of our clients, and it's made my team feel more confident. It's giving us more insights into our own efficiencies and tool sets that we've rolled out. And the peace of mind is for my clients and for myself is invaluable.
You brought up confidence. It's interesting how we live in a world where we're talking about technology frequently, but at the end of the day, we're all humans first. And that layer of confidence has become more important every day. I'm curious, as you lead your team and as you work with your clients, how has how are you leveraging data and tools to operate with that higher level of confidence in your everyday interaction with clients?
Well, we started migrating from the traditional MSP tech support role
Mm.
probably 8 years ago, 9 years ago, into becoming more security focused. That being said, all of our tools have their own little dashboards and a little bit of disjointedness in trying to oversee them. And you like to think, uh, Lord forgive me, that the team is being 100% perfect every time. We all know they're not. We're human. There is going to be mistakes. And when we had so many different dashboards to look at, it was pretty hard to find those mistakes. So we have found, and Dan, sorry, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a compliment here. We have found with the Cork dashboard that has saved us a lot of time and efficiency. So we're getting that one view, and I can tell that all of our core cybersecurity products are deployed where they need to be deployed. Um, it helps with my own business efficiency. It helps with that confidence because we know that Janie down at that accounting firm, if she just made a mistake and disabled something she shouldn't have, we get insight into that and we can respond to it quickly. You're going to hear I've said response a number of times. We now have that ability to have insight so we can respond quickly to these things, which is where that confidence comes from and that peace of mind. So darn you, Dan, for building a tool that makes my life easier.
And speed matters. So thanks for being a great partner, Scott. Last question for you. If you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
I would like the ability to read minds.
Yeah.
I think that would be an amazing. I guess Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory had asked the same thing so he could read emotions. Um, for me, it's about a thirst of knowledge and differing points of view. Um, yeah, maybe I want a little bit of the gossip too, Dan. I don't know, but to me, that would be the amazing superpower.
Love it. Well, there you have it, folks. Poppin' Corks with Mr. Scott Beck, the official tech therapist. Scott, thank you for joining us today. Always a pleasure to see you. Appreciate the partnership, and I hope you have a fabulous day, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
All right. Peace.